Exclamation, everybody! Welcome back to more Sunday ramblings in Cube World. And I have decided that today I am going to take on castles. Specifically this one, even though I know that this is a red castle. I want to see how I stack up against these guys. In case you're wondering, I am back in the warmer second biome that I found a while ago. I decided to, in the last episode oh, and I've leveled up here. Sorry, in the last episode I found a winter wonderland biome. I will revisit that. I will go back there. I wanted to sort of, as I mentioned in the previous episode, I wanted to sort of leave that for more of the holiday season, because I think it'll be more appropriate then. Right now, it's sort of early, although the retail stores would have you believe otherwise. So I will revisit that. I just wanted to sort of, excuse me. Wow, these guys are not messing around, are they? Oh, jeez. Oh, this is not fair. You can't attack me as soon as I respawn. What is wrong with you guys? Oh, it's all fun and games here. Yeah, I'm done for again. There we go. So I wanted to return to this biome, and I've had my eye on these castles. There's actually a couple of them in this biome. This is not the one that I found before. This is another one. I just found it on my way back, and I just remembered I need to level up here. So I will pick. Let's see. Do I want to? Do I need any more in this? Alright. There we go. Leveled up. Anywho, let's get back to some of the more different topics that I would normally talk about here. So, sort of a more of a... This is not a gaming related topic. This is just something that I wanted to bring up because it's evident in some of my newer videos here. Excuse me, my throat is just terrible today. I've been having a lot. It's winter time now. Newsflash! It's winter time now where I live, and it's sort of winter time. Sort of wrecks me as far as my voice and my throat goes, and generally everything else. The last couple of videos I've noticed that, particularly my last Cube World video, I've noticed that my mic is picking up a lot of dry throat, a lot of lip smacking, and it's gross. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I had to listen to it too. So I'm trying to clear that up whenever I can, but all that is really due to the fact that in the wintertime, and this is just a recent occurrence for me. In the wintertime, I've just been the heat is just wrecks me anymore. Like the hot air heat that I have in my house. Now I grew up in all the houses I grew up in. They all had radiant heat. And maybe this is just all psychological, but I feel like radiant heat, for some reason, is a little bit more humid. This might not be scientific at all, but it's a little bit more, it leaves the air a little bit more humid than the hot air heat does. And so, the last 5 years I've been living in a house that's very, very, the hot air heat, and it's very dry, particularly at nighttime when I'm sleeping. And I don't know, it's destroying my voice, it's destroying my It's destroying everything about me. I just, no matter how much water I drink and everything else, it just does not clear up. So I apologize if you hear some of that. I'm trying to go through in editing and, you know, silence some of it. But I'm not going to catch it all because it's just the nature of the game, right? But I want to apologize ahead of time. If you do hear that, I sympathize entirely with your plight. All right, enough of my personal problems. Let's get on to some gaming stuff here. So what have I been working on this week? I have a bunch of videos in the bag right now. I'm trying to build up my backlog of stuff because I had this thought in my head that I would get more than just 2 running series going on at once, 2 every weekend running series going. But in order to do that, I have to, well, A, have games to play, and B, I have to have a backlog because I just don't get that much time to play, record, edit, as you know, a lot of other YouTubers do. Because this is just a hobby for me. So, that being said, I've been sort of building up my back catalog, and I've got a couple more episodes of Starpoint Gemini in the bag. In fact, I have finished the main game, so I can tell you that there will be 3 more episodes. Well, it's 3. What went up yesterday? Episode 13 went up, so there will be a 14, and 15 will be the finale. So there's 2 more for you guys. And I enjoyed the heck out of that game. I really did. I mean, for all the bugs that it had and all the pain points, it was still quite fun to play. I really enjoyed it. It ended up taking me, according to Steam, now there was an in-game timer, but it broke a long time ago. It's printing out some weird number now. I don't know whatever happened to it. It just completely broke in the save file. But that is, according to Steam, I've put 53 hours into that game, which is that's quite a long game. I didn't expect it to actually be that long. It really was. It did feel like at the end, it felt like it was dragging a bit. A lot of the missions were very repetitive and sort of out of place a little bit. And I'll talk more about that, or I do talk more about that in the edited video. I just have to figure out how much of it I will leave in and how much I will leave out. The problem is that for the final episode will be longer than, I've been doing half an hour episodes. It'll be more like 45 minutes, if not a little bit longer. The final episode 15. Right now I have it at 55 minutes, but I have a feeling I'm going to edit it down even more. That was my first pass at it. Because the final mission, and I don't want to spoil too much, but the final mission did drag a bit, and my commentary sort of reflected that, where I started to get a little bit tired. So I might end up trimming some of that down even more. So it'll probably end up being about 45 minutes or so. Not a huge deal. I also purchased and downloaded and have played the DLC for the game, which came out in October? Called Time Breach. and it was only really I think it was like 5 missions, and all taking place in a brand new area. So that I pretty much got through that in about 3 or 4 days. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of footage. It'll probably be one episode. It might be a long one episode. We'll see. I don't really want to drag it out too much. It's pretty cut and dry. There's not a whole lot that goes on there, but it is a nice little romp. So I have that under my belt. I just have to get the videos out. So expect those. They'll be coming out. Also, I have finished Starpoint Gemini. Wow. Yeah, I just talked about that. I have finished Saturday Morning RPG as well. I finished recording, and I'm just finishing up editing the episode 4 of that. In-game episode 4, their Christmas episode. So that was fun too. I really liked that. I liked as much as, and I follow the Mighty Rabbit guys on Twitter, and I know that they kind of they get a little antsy when it comes to people saying, "Oh, there's a whole lot of nostalgia here, nostalgia." They're like, "Yeah, we kind of put the nostalgia in there, but we didn't really want that to be the focus." And I understand it, but to be honest, when I saw it, the first thing I said was, the reason I want to play this is because it reminds me of my childhood. It brings back the nostalgia. That is really why I played it. And I wasn't disappointed. I really enjoyed it. There were a lot of parts of it that I purposely did not play. Now, by that I mean there were weapons that I purposely did not use. Mostly because I felt like I had all the weapons I needed, but also I wanted to give the viewers a reason to go in and actually play, because I did sort of play the entire game except for some of the side things like the endless battle, where it's just exactly what it sounds like, and arena. There's another thing there as well. I had, and this is one of the reasons why I've decided to purchase DX Tori, which I will start to use soon. I had a lot of problems with the audio in that game. It for whatever reason, the lag would catch up with what was going on screen, and the in-game audio would just get out of sync. And that was so I had to do some fix-ups along the way, and you'll hear it if you're paying attention in the video. There will be certain sections where there's a pause where the game sound, the game music stops, and that was me in editing, kind of chopping it off where it went out of sync and just sort of moving everything over so that it tried to get it back into sync as much as I possibly could. And I think I did a passable job. There's probably still a little bit of a phase shift there that you'll hear, but for the most part, I think I got it back into sync as much as I could. So yeah, I ran into that problem, and that sort of made me look at, maybe. I mean, I like Fraps. I've owned Fraps for years. I just it made me another reason to look at DX Tori, and I just purchased it for another reason, but it was in the back of my head the whole time after, when I was going through editing the Saturday Morning RPG stuff, and I had those sync problems. So working on those, that brings me to another thing I've been working on, which is I've been trying to record a new thing that came out on Kickstarter, a new game called The Memory of Eldarim. and that's spelled Eldurim. I'm spelling that out because I've had a dickens of a time trying to actually find it because I kept misspelling it. You can also search on Kickstarter for memory if you want. I, of course, will leave a link in the description of the video so you can go directly to it. But it's, I have been trying unsuccessfully. I've tried 3 different ways to record a video of it. There is a free demo out there, free pre-alpha demo, and I cannot, it will not allow me to record. Everything that has come out of it, I've tried Fraps, and it was choppy. I was only getting about 5 to 10 frames per second. I've tried Open Broadcaster. Again, I was able to play the game at about 100 frames per second, but it would still only record at about 5 to 10 for some reason. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. The same thing with DxTory. I could play the game at 70, 80 frames per second, but the recording was only coming out at 5 to 10, and sometimes 20 if I was lucky. So it was very choppy, too choppy to even put up on YouTube and say, oh, here you go, have fun. I just couldn't do that to you guys, so it's unfortunate. It really means all I can do is really talk about it and not really show you any video. There is video out on their Kickstarter page of the game, which will give you some decent look at it. I mean, it's not the same as having an actual Let's Play of it and getting to look at all the mechanics of it. But essentially, it's an open world action RPG. So it's similar mechanics to Cube World here, except it's not a you take the voxels out and put a pre-rendered area in there. So of course you got the dodging mechanic and sword slashing and the random loot and all that stuff. So it's all there. And then of course you just, as I said earlier, it's pre-rendered, so all the areas are already laid out. You just have to go find stuff to do. The thing with that is, what was I going to say there? There's no thing with that. It just works. I'm sorry. I just lost my train of thought completely. I was playing it. It was a lot of fun. It's actually in the Crytek 3 engine. So that's the, Crysis 3 or Crysis 2. I've lost track of my engines. Whichever one it is. The latest Crysis engine. Very beautiful. The thing is, they've gone on Kickstarter to raise money for art assets, which I can see where they need them. There is some programmer art in there, but not in the Minecraft sense, but more in the let's just put some placeholders in here and we'll get the real art assets later. So for instance, all the loot looks exactly the same, all the armor looks exactly the same. In fact, at one point in time, and it's a shame that I don't have any footage that's usable, but at one point in the time, I actually commented that my character had been running around for 20 minutes with literally a bucket on his head. Quite literally a bucket on his head, which was hilarious. I didn't even notice it until I'd been wearing it for about 20 minutes. So that was pretty funny. I also sort of broke the game. It's very pre-alpha, so there's no balancing in it, and I found out that if you just spam the fire, the F key does the hand fireball thing. If you just spam that at the enemies, eventually you kill them regardless of what level they are above you. Because I tried with the sword and I just couldn't. It just wouldn't work out so well. So that is some more information about that. That has sort of factions in it. It's open world in that there are no character classes. There are missions and there are quests, but it's up to you to go do them at whatever pace you want to do them at. It's there's factions, so just like in, say, Starpoint Gemini, when you do certain quests or certain missions, you gain reputation with factions, and excuse me, along the way, you will make friends, make enemies based upon who you spend more time with. Also, they've said in their video that if you trade a lot with a particular city or town, I should say, it will grow and expand over time as you trade more and more with it, which is really cool. I dig that. I'm really waiting to see what they have in store there. There's also some crafting you can do, random loot I've talked about. They also have sort of a weird in an interesting way magic system where you get these shards, these blood shards, and there's 3 different types right now. And I didn't get to experience any of them in the demo, but it's as you basically join with these shards, put them in your wrist, and then as you use your magic, you sort of become fused with that energy, and you can start to specialize in certain what would you call it? Certain magical arts, I guess. I'm not sure what you would call it. Magic school. So that sounds pretty cool. They are right now at they have 28 days left on their Kickstarter, and they are at $6,355 as of today, as tonight, Saturday, November 9th. And they're looking to raise 150 grand. So they've got a good start going, actually. They got a good ways to go. Most of that money, from what they've said in their video, is going to be going towards art and art assets. Because they have, from what it appeared to be, they have all their programming staff, and they're just continuing to work on the programming. It's just the art right now is all placeholder stuff. And you'll see it again if you walk around with a bucket on your head. You'll notice. So that's pretty cool. You should go check that out if you are so inclined. At least watch their video and see if it's something you'd like. And I'm assuming if you like Cube World and you don't mind having a game without voxels, you'll probably dig that. So while I'm talking about Kickstarter, some updates on some of the other Kickstarters that I've been tracking and that I'm... Ooh, a werewolf. Well, this is the first time I've fought one of these guys. Sorry, shiny thing on screen. So updates on Kickstarters. Unsworn, which was the sci-fi RPG top-down isometric random loot Shinmadog Shimalabla. That is got 11 days left. They are struggling. They're only at $3,026 out of their 60 grand that they're looking to raise. Again, if that's something you like, you can go look at my video on Unsworn, see if it's the type of game that you would enjoy, and go show them some love if you're so inclined. And hopefully they will have a big push, and now they're in their coming down to their last week. Also, The Mandate, another sci-fi RPG shindig thing that was focused on really the characterizations and has this whole rich world around it. 150, what was it? No, 1,500 years of history they've written around it. Their Kickstarter is continuing. They have 22 days left. They're at $236,121 out of their $500,000. So they're going to need a good push as well. But they've still got some time left. I actually went over to, I looked at the Kickstarter again, because they have a bunch of sort of preview game-like things on there. It's not the actual game, it's not a pre-alpha, but it's more like these little previews of the storyline and how the story's going to pan out, and prologue sort of thing. Just like they're mini games, essentially, text-based mostly. And took a look at those. There's not much I can record as far as that goes. It's just they're browser-based, and you know, they're pretty cut and dry. So I looked at those. That's pretty cool. It gives you a little bit of background on the story. So you might want to go over and check that out. Also, moving away from the Kickstarter stuff for a little bit, some other things I've been looking at that I have on my list here. I pulled some of these over from last time that I didn't get to as well. And then there's some new ones here, and I'll talk about some of the new ones. Blockscape. This is a... I'm trying to come up with a video for it. Hopefully I'll have one soon. I'm just getting used to the game right now before I do it. But it's essentially, and I hate to say it because everybody says it for everything now, but it is essentially Minecraft. It's a Minecraft in a much better engine, I should say. So it's a voxel-based engine. Same sort of mechanics as Minecraft. There's a God mode, which would be equivalent to the creative mode in Minecraft. That is the only mode that is really fleshed out right now. They also have the survival mode, but there's nothing to survive yet. There's no monsters or mobs or anything. So, and there's no tools yet either. It's very, very early alpha. Or actually, they're calling it Phase 1, Beta Phase 1. There's going to be about 3 phases as far as the development goes. And that's continuing on. That was, I actually stumbled on that in the comments section of an RPS article about some other game. So, that was an interesting way of finding something. So I'm trying to get a video of that. Hopefully I'll have it next week or sometime soon. It's really cool. It's the engine that they're using is beautiful for it. I mean, the blocks and everything. Not only do you have just square cubes, but you can have sloped edges and stair steps, and they even had like a prefab 4-way intersection, which was interesting. You can make it out of pretty much any material I want, like I did birchwood, just to see if I could do it. What was... Oh, they have some lighting in there. There is a day-night cycle, but I didn't... Yeah, I did see, like, part of the nighttime in there. I haven't recorded a video yet, though. I'm just trying to get used to it before I do that, so I don't look like a complete idiot. And they have, you know, all the textures are really cool looking. They also, the mouse wheel controls the size of the shape that you're doing. So whether it's you're putting a cube down, or you're putting, you know, stair steps down, or some other geometric shape that they have prefabbed in there, you can adjust the size of it. So you can go really small to the largest size you can get. So that's pretty cool. It allows for a lot more variety than you would get, you know, out of Minecraft, say, because you're kind of stuck with that 1 meter by 1 meter block. Even though you have half blocks and all that stuff, you're still sort of stuck to that one measurement. And this one here sort of allows you to go out and in as necessary. So that'll be really cool. Hopefully, you know, I have DxTory now. Hopefully I can record that at a respectable rate and hopefully do it justice. Now, if you've seen any of my Minecraft stuff, you'll know that I suck at building really badly. And unfortunately, the only thing you can do in this game right now, in Blockscape right now, is build. So I'm going to attempt to build a house that doesn't look like crap to show off the game. So we'll see what happens. See how successful I am at that. I haven't done it yet, so we'll just see. Right now I'm just laying a palette down so I can see what all the different blocks look like and all the different lighting. So that's cool. Look for that. Hopefully I'll have a video up soon of that. I'll be able to talk some more about it. That also it brings up another point. I've been also working on the side. I had sort of a what would you call it? I had a nostalgia moment recently. I was playing, I downloaded the Minecraft, well, 2013 Minecraft custom map for Minecraft. Excuse me a minute. Sorry about that. So I downloaded this map with the intention of let's playing it. And it's a lot of work has been put into the map, but sort of, how can I put this? It's when you're doing a map like that, it's like, oh, this is going to be around Minecon or around some kind of event. There's sort of a timing issue there, right? You need to get the map out before or during the event. Preferably before the event or right before the event or during the event. Because of that, it looks like it was rushed. There's no easy way to say that, right? It looks like they ran out of time and they had to get it out the door and it just wasn't ready yet. All the buildings were great. There looks like there was a lot of time had been put into the map. It's just that it was fundamentally broken. I mean, there was just, I tried to play it and, well, I forgot to load the resource pack. So I had to go back and load that up. That's just me being a derp. But once I had that loaded up and everything else, a lot of the command blocks sort of didn't fire off like they were supposed to. Some of that stuff would have been caught by playtesting, but you know, it looks like, again, it looks like it was rushed. That's why I think, you know, that's why I think it was rushed, is because a lot of that stuff could have been caught by playtesting. And some of it just was a good idea, but it was sort of doomed to fail. By that I mean, the map was not supposed to be a challenge map. It's supposed to be more of a museum map. Like, hey, you go around and just see things and experience, you know, Minecraft and all the personalities and all that stuff. And I watch a bunch of those guys, so it's, you know, it was cool for me. But you know, one in particular, we'll go with one in particular here. There's a point where you have to kill silverfish. You have to kill 11 of them to open up the next path of the map. And first of all, I walked in there with only half a heart because I had been sort of screwing around beforehand. And the silverfish killed me, and then of course it despawned, and that sort of broke the whole contraption because they weren't using spawners, they were using just command blocks to do all the spawning one at a time. Because the idea wasn't to kill you, it was just to sort of give you a little bit of a challenge. That's why I call it a museum map. It was sort of leading you around by the nose. So I had to dig down into the floor to find out, to try to reset it. There was a reset button down there, but I had to dig down into it. And then once I reset it and I started to play it, it broke about 4 silverfish in. And when you look at the wiring and stuff, all the wiring is correct, but the fundamental way it was supposed to work was doomed to fail, right? It was like, it's based on a timer, it's based on ticks. If you happen to kill the silverfish at the time when that timer was firing off, everything worked fine, right? So the first 4 deaths, first 4 silverfish worked great. But you're rolling the dice every time, right? So it's like, at some point that's going to break. Now, if all you had to do was kill 4, it probably would have been fine for 99% of the people out there, including myself. But because you had to kill 11, it was doomed to just break horribly. And that's exactly what happened. It just broke. I couldn't proceed further without trying to fix it. And you can't really fix it. It's just one of those things where it's just the fundamental principle behind it just wasn't going to work. And that's disappointing, right? Because I really wanted to play the map all the way through. I really wanted to do it without cheating. I really wanted to experience it, but I just couldn't. There was another section as well that one of the doors just wouldn't open because somebody fat fingered the coordinates. They had this weird, funny thing that made the doors disappear using command blocks and stuff. Cool concept. Rushed out the door. So I went long tirade that I didn't really want to go into, but I did that mostly to say it sort of inspired me to go back and start playing vanilla Minecraft again. Well, I'm not going to say vanilla Minecraft, but it'll start out being vanilla Minecraft and then probably evolve into being more of a side Minecraft Plus type of thing where I start bringing in some mods, not a whole lot, but just not on the level of Minecraft Plus where I'm trying to make as many mods work together as I possibly can. More like a few here and there, like definitely tree capitator as soon as I can, as soon as that's ready for 1.7.2 and all that stuff. Just the things that'll make it a little bit less grindy, but not change the world. So I've been working on a little map for myself, not an adventure map. It's going to be, well, it's ending up being a parody of adventure maps where I basically just make this huge monument and say, here, you gotta build this monument out of all kinds of things. And by the way, it's just a regular Minecraft generate map. You go do your normal single player let's play thing and then come back every so often and build your monument. It is, I've actually dubbed it the poor man's adventure map because I just didn't, I wasn't going to put more time into it than I really needed to. So that's something else I'm sort of working on the side. That'll be like a side, occasional series along with the Minecraft Plus stuff. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how it works out. We'll see. It may end up being a little too grindy for me, but who knows. Anyway. Back to some stuff that I did not get to. Excuse me. Back to some stuff that I did not get to last time that I sort of put off. And I'm sort of winding down here in this episode, so I'm going to just pick 2 of these off and then call it a day here. Or a night in my case. So, first of all, Raven Sword 2 Shadowlands. I mentioned in one of these episodes that I was playing it on the tablet and I was recording it and everything else. I discovered that they are actually coming up with a PC port of it. Well, a PC version of it. I'm not going to call it a port. I'm going to call it a version until I find out what it is, what it actually is. So I'm going to put that on hold. I'm not going to put any videos up of it. I'm just going to put it on hold until it comes out for PC. I haven't gotten very far into it, so it shouldn't be that bad. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Because I feel like, and the reason I'm putting it off is because the control scheme is just, it's pissing me off. There's no easy way to say that. It's just, I can't deal with it on the tablet. It's just too difficult. My fingers are not dexterous enough to deal with it. So I feel like I would enjoy it much more with the mouse and keyboard than I will trying to suffer on the tablet playing the game. So I'm going to wait for that to happen. Also, I want to mention, because I haven't mentioned it at all on YouTube at all, I had gotten a comment early on, I think it was episode 5 of my Starpoint Gemini series. A guy by the name of Rick left me a comment and said I should check out a game called Star Wolves 3 Civil War. And I think I replied with, I'll put it on my list and I'll take a look at it. So now that some of these other series are winding up, I started to look at it. I actually started a few months ago looking at it, and I have some footage recorded, but I got stuck very early on. It's very punishing. If you go off the rails, it just sort of kills you and says, thank you for playing. So I got about 2 hours into it, and I was getting stuck on this one mission. I looked at it again last week. I finally figured out what I had missed, the information I had missed, and why I kept dying on the mission. But I continued to die, so I know what I need to do. I just have to sit down and actually do it at some point. So I just wanted to thank Rick for putting me onto that game. It's a lot. There's a lot of reading in there, so it may not be very conducive to YouTube, but I will put in more of the action sequences and try not to read too much, because there are pages and pages of reading involved there. So that I don't want it to turn into Reading Simulator 2013. So I will. I just wanted to give an update and say yes, I am looking at that. I have a few things on my plate right now, but I will, once I get some more footage recorded and I get a backlog going, I will return to it and hopefully get some videos out of that, because it seems like it would be really interesting, really cool. All right, I am going to wrap up right now because I imagine that this is a lot of it's nighttime, and it seems like it's a lot of boring footage right now. The way I'm trying to do this is I'll have like an exploration episode and then have more of an action episode, and I think this was more of an action episode, hopefully. But we'll see. I'll probably change my mind again next week. It really depends on what I feel like. But anyway, heading back to the city here. I've got my spoils. I want to sell some things off, figure out what I've picked up, and then it looks like there's another castle here. Cool. And my goal doesn't even show up on the map yet. My goal is to take on one of these castles and really complete them. So that's what I will do at some point. But right now I need to end the episode here. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I will see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat place. Bye bye.